All right. Well, good morning, and welcome. Glad to have you guys in. Those of you that are out there already, thanks for coming in. Those that'll be joining and watching later, I definitely appreciate you being here. Welcome to another episode of Yet. I'm your host, John Prince. Post stroke 5 years. I had my stroke back in February the 14th, uh, 2021. So, what does YET stands for? As some already know, YET uh, stands for the Y is for Yahweh. I feel like God was the one that put this together and put it on me to get YET started. The E is for encouragement, to encourage other survivors to know that it's not the end, that you can continue to fight and keep going. The T is for trust, trust in the process, knowing that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. So just trust the process and put in the work that it takes to make it happen. He gave us another opportunity for a reason. Okay. And the last T is for thankful. I'm thankful that he chose me to be able to share and to try to make a difference in this terrible disease that we all are dealing with. Okay, so today's what I like to call today's topic, or what was on my heart and mind to name this, was the page has turned. The page has turned. My special guest that I have with us today is going to be Rachel. I'm not going to, I meant to ask Rachel the correct pronunciation of her last name, so I'm not going to say it because I don't want to butcher it. I let her say it when I bring her on. But Rachel is going to be our guest speaker, and I'm not going to say much about it. I'm going to let Rachel uh, come in and tell us all about herself. So, yeah, give me a second here. Let me bring her in. Hello, dear.
Hi,
How we doing?
pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Your morning been good so far?
It's been good. Yeah, it's nice
Uh,
and warm here now.
Again, I'm sorry. Where are you at again?
Colorado.
Colorado. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Oh man, I think. Do you know Joy?
Who?
Joy.
Joy.
Yes. I can't think of Joy last name, but she goes by Joy. I got to introduce you to Joy. I'll get back to that. But yeah, she's in Colorado as well. Okay, Rachel. So let's start off with how do I pronounce your last name?
Jarmus.
Jarmus. Okay, Jarmus. Gotcha. Rachel Jarmus.
Yes.
Y'all got that? Okay. So Rachel, let's start off a little bit telling me life before the stroke, like career and things to that nature.
Yeah. Well, I was, excuse me, I was 24, so I had just graduated college.
Okay.
I was set to become a teacher, which I consider myself still kind of doing, teaching yoga, but I have a bachelor's in elementary education and was set out to become a public school teacher in Chicago.
Okay.
And yeah, loved every second of it. Loved, loved, loved it. Year that I graduated, summer, had my stroke.
In the summer. Okay. And you say you was 24.
Yeah.
Okay. And what type of stroke was it that you had?
An ischemic Yeah, a blood clot.
Okay, gotcha. Did they happen to uh, figure out what caused it for you? Anything?
No, but you know what? Now I'm like digging a little bit more into hormones and health and genetic testing and whatnot, and I'm kind of getting some answers in terms of like why my arteries harden, why blood clot. I have a couple different theories that I've come up with. But I do think it was hormone related. I had
Okay.
just given birth to my second child, so I
Hmm.
was postpartum and all, you know, jacked up from childbirth and whatnot. And so I really contribute my stroke to a hormone imbalance. And especially for young women to be aware of like their hormones and just be mindful of it to keep things balanced because your hormones can really, I just learned, can play a really huge role in like having high cholesterol and having hardened arteries and having issues like that just if your estrogen is off or your testosterone is whatever, right? So I really encourage young and everyone to just become aware of that and
Right.
know that I'm getting older and whatnot, I can kind of dive into that a little bit more,
Gotcha. Okay.
find out. But they never knew. All my doctors said, we don't know why
Mm.
you had the stroke. We don't know what caused it. I was on a roller coaster when it happened, and I got off and just felt really dizzy, right? Like I got off and I was like, whoa, like I need to sit down. And like, it's just the world was like spinning around me. And yeah,
Okay.
they
That's,
called 911 and went to the hospital.
okay. That's good. Actually, because my next question was going to actually be, I was going to ask you to take us back to the day that it happened. So you was on a roller coaster and got off
Yeah.
the roller coaster, feeling pretty dizzy and whatnot. And so did they immediately call 911?
Well, we're at Six Flags. This is Six Flags in St. Louis. And
Mm-hmm.
they are very observant of their folks, right? Because they don't want to have a problem. So when I came off the roller coaster, I like sat down. And I think where I sat down was like just a curb. Like it wasn't a seat or anything, but I was like, I really just need to sit down right now. And so I just like sat on the ground. And by the time I sat on the ground, there were like, um, what do you call it? Like the park, you know, crew that
Yeah.
came, like,
Emergency people for the
yeah,
park or not.
from the park at this
Gotcha.
point. And they're like, is she okay? Is she okay? And I was with my ex-husband now, like at the time, my husband, and he was like, "We don't know what's going on. She just got off, whatever." So they escort me into like a first aid like little trailer or something, right? Like in the park. They're like, "Come on, come in here, sit down." The guy's looking at me, and he's like, "I think she's having a stroke."
Mm.
And his partner guy is like, well, we have to call 911 because we can't deal with this. Like, she's got to go to the hospital. So I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm like, I don't really understand. But they called 911. And so the ambulance came to the park and took me to the hospital from there. And they just kept saying, like, she's having a stroke. She's having a stroke. And to be honest with you, John, at that time, I don't think I knew what a stroke was.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, what? What is what? What? And yeah, go to the hospital and then progress to what I believe have the brunt of the stroke actually in the hospital as I'm there, like, and they're not really taking me that seriously because I'm young. I'm a woman. Oh, it's hormones. She's fine. She's this. So I'm
So
sitting there
much.
believe that the brunt of my damage, so to speak, actually happened in the hospital
Mhm.
while I'm sitting there. And then they realize, oh shit, she's like really doing badly. So then I'm rushed to like ICU, and they realize that my brain is like putting so much pressure on my skull because I have this huge clot in my carotid artery. And they were like, we might have to open up her skull, da 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 da, do the craniotomy to relieve pressure. But by the grace of God, this doctor put me on blood thinners, IV blood thinners, and the clot just ended up passing. And the swelling, and in a matter of 4 to 5 days, the swelling in my brain went down and my headache went away. But I was left completely hemiplegic on the left side. Like, couldn't walk, couldn't move anything at that point on my left side.
Oh my goodness.
And just, yeah, my little baby was 2 months at the time. And yeah, I'm in the ICU. And then I go to rehab, and I'm in rehab for like a rehab hospital where I'm staying. I was in rehab for like almost 45 days.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, which is why, like, when I hear people say that they're like, oh my God, I was in the hospital for like a week or something, I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I'm like, my rehab was like a full 30 days. And then I had 15 days afterwards to like show them that like I could shower, I could dress, I could do all these things. And then I
Mm.
was released home. And then I was doing PT and OT from home. And then I kind of, well, yeah, I just started doing PT wherever I could do it, and just wanted to like get as much PT outpatient as I could. But yeah, my rehab hospitals are no joke, right? When you're in there for a month, and like, yeah, it's that was probably the most intense part of it, because you're having to relearn everything. You're having to relearn simple you know, getting dressed, feeding
Oh yeah.
yourself,
Yes,
talking.
yeah.
They want to make sure that you can use the bathroom, shower by yourself, all of that. And yeah, you're doing rehab, like they every day they come and
Mhm.
get you. You're going to do and so I started walking very quickly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
up,
that's
I
good.
was walking, I was doing pretty well walking, but my upper body was just very.
Yeah, and kind of you can see here in the comments, like Tammy mentioned, you know, thankful that their quick response and quick thinking. When you was at the park, so that was that.
Right. Well, what I will say is that Six Flags was very thorough about the way that they handled it. And like it was the hospital that I think kind of didn't do
Uh
such
huh.
a great job. But Six Flags itself, they probably saved my life by getting that quickly. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
make a difference. Yeah, because as you know, it's many of us out there that didn't get that quick response.
Right.
And I'm one of them. I'm one of those survivors. I'm not sure if you heard my complete story or not, but when I had this stroke, I was on my way home from work and thinking that something was wrong with my car. So I pulled over into a Walgreens parking lot to park the car so I can get out and see what's going on. And I get out of the car and I fall flat on my face. And I laid out there in that parking lot for 4 hours before I got any attention at all. So, it's great that you was in a position, a place where you got that quick attention, to get your help. So I'm thankful for that happened.
Same.
So
Same.
with that being said, who was your biggest cheerleader when everything felt impossible for you after this?
Hmm, that's a good question because I didn't have a lot of support.
Mm.
My friends were, ignorant to the whole situation a bit because we were all so young,
Yeah, I'm
right?
saying that in 24, y'all ranging anywhere from 20 to 26 years old. I can
Yeah,
imagine.
right. I mean, bless my friends' hearts because they really never treated me differently for it. Like they just kind of welcomed me back in, but it was hard to find connection with people that knew the struggle because like it's just it's I don't think my sister was pretty she was a cheerleader. My parents were supportive and I had family like that. But really I think I was my biggest cheerleader. I was the one that was really like, I'm not fucking staying in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I got you.
no way. And I'm walking around with like a hemi cane
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, going everywhere. And I wanted to kick that thing like just out the room,
Oh
like
yeah.
I was frustrated. I was the one that was like, Rachel, you can do this. You can do this. You got this. I became my biggest cheerleader and then when I came into the yoga community, I found that there were a lot of yoga teachers that became my mentors and people that actually pushed me to like step outside of something that I didn't think that I could do physically. And so a lot of yoga teacher friends kind of started to emerge and form this support system around me. But
Got you.
really, I say it was me. It was me.
That's good. And hearing that from you and over the time that I have known you and the time that we have spent, on the phone and just, communicating stuff, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that in you. Absolutely. So what one thing you wish people really understood about life after a stroke?
You don't ever heal, right? This was the biggest thing for me to start to comprehend in my brain because when I got home from the hospital, I really, really thought that I would come home, I would sleep, I would eat really good, I would get back into my routine, and I would just slowly become myself again,
Yeah. It's
feeling
not it's not a broken bone.
it's not a broken bone. And
Broken
that's what my mind
bone.
was kind of thinking that, like, oh, well, I'll just rest. I'll just rest, eat really good, take my
Hmm.
vitamins. I'll be back at it running around, like in no time. And that obviously didn't happen. And so it was a really slow process for me to come to terms with the fact that, like, this changes you forever. This
Yeah.
is something that you don't ever, and I know that's like depressing for people to hear, but really in a
It's true.
sense,
It's
it's not I look at it as more of like it's just a new you.
hmm
It's a new you that you now have to get to know the boundaries, get to know the things that like I have certain things that I know that I can't do. Even still to this day, I'm like, well, if there's going to be a lot of walking or a lot of noise or a lot of something, I'm like, I'm out. And so it's a constant thing. It's not anything that ever goes away. And I think that that's the biggest thing with newer stroke survivors that they're just like, I just want to heal already. And I'm like, girl, you're this healing journey is now your whole life.
exactly.
right? And we're just adapting our new self into these new parts of our life or whatnot. And I kind of think of it as a really cool opportunity to get to know yourself again, to come into a space where you're getting to know yourself again.
Hmm.
And
Let's look at see here what Tammy say. Tammy said people will turn their backs on you because they want to because they don't want to deal with you. This is what this is what I thought, but I came to find out is that they just don't know how to handle stroke survivors.
that is so true. That is so true. And I know we're really not talking about yoga yet, but in terms of the yoga community and yoga teachers, that statement sums up everything as to why more stroke survivors don't go and do yoga. Yoga teachers don't know how to handle this community. They don't. And I think a lot of people are scared of us. They're scared that, oh my God, we might hurt ourselves, or oh, we might whatever. And really, it's just an ignorance that they don't know our population. They don't know how cool we are, really. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing, is that there's so many misconceptions and so much ignorance around stroke. And especially if you're younger, it's like you're in a world just like by yourself, because it's mostly elderly folks that have strokes, right? And so when I'm meeting people, I find it like kind of my job to like educate them a little bit about the life of a stroke survivor. We're not scary. We're not, you know, gonna
Hmm.
like fall at any moment. I might fall or lose my balance a little bit, but I'll be all right. Like, just give me some space. And I think it's really our job as these stroke communities to educate those on the outside about us, so that there is not that gap. I always talk about there's like just a huge gap in between folks that have tools to help our community and our community. You know, they don't know how to reach us. They don't know how to. There's so many misconceptions about stroke and so much false information out there, like, oh, well, if you're young you can't have a stroke, or
Hmm.
oh, if you're this you can't know, like, and your most healing happens in the first 2 years or the first 6 months. They're right. I mean, it's bullshit, and this is
Yeah,
something that doctors are
I
telling us.
can't stand when they say that. You know,
Right.
I went to a visit a physical therapy place. I'm not gonna mention the name of the place, but I went to go visit one to go do a walkthrough and have a consultation done pretty much. And the guy was like, he asked me how long had this been since I had the stroke, and I told him how long it had been, and he asked me like, well, so what took you so long to try to get therapy? I said, I've been doing therapy for years now. He like, well, you probably got all you're gonna get, but you know, we can still work with you. I said, no, that's not true. I said, I haven't gotten with all I can get because I'm better today than I was yesterday. So you can't tell me that I gotten all that I'm gonna get. You know, so that right there told me then that I definitely don't want to go here. You know, let me go somewhere else, you know, with that kind of, you know,
Yeah.
like that. Don't
Don't
tell
tell
me that.
somebody that happened to you, because that is so, for a stroke survivor to hear stuff like that, it can be so like just heartbreaking, right? And that person doesn't know. Like, it's just, I just have to chalk it up to just ignorance. People are just ignorant. They don't know, they don't consider anything. But I literally am 16 years into my stroke recovery and still see progress every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I see something that I'm like, oh, I couldn't do that before. Whether it's like balancing on my foot or walking at a certain speed or using my
Right.
hand to open a jar or using my hand to do something. It's like little things like that that I still see, and I'm damn near 20 years out of my stroke.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, that's very false information. And we don't want to be like carrying that false information forward. Like anybody, anytime, any place in your recovery, you can see progress. I can tell you that from personal experience. You will, if you put in the work, you will see something. And that's not to say that you may not backslide, right? Plateaus are real.
Right.
Therapy plateaus are real, and you can get stuck in a place where you're doing the same thing for therapy. You're doing the same thing every day, da 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 da. It's going on and on and on, and you're like, why am I not making progress? Right? You might be in a therapy plateau where you have to change what you're doing because the brain
Mhm.
is responding to what we're doing. And if you just do the same thing, you will get stuck in a rut. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be in a plateau. Plateaus are beautiful. If you've
Right.
ever seen one, right? Like they're beautiful. And therapists always say, like, oh, you're just in a therapy plateau. Like, just forget it. Or like, just, you'll be there. And I'm like, change what you're doing. Give your brain something new to focus on, whether it be something as simple as like finger counting, visualizations of
Hmm.
stuff, moving your hand. I mean, like, do something new. Give your brain something new to experience, and you'll get out of that plateau in 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, that leads me to this next question for you. What's something recovery has taught you about yourself that you probably never would have learned otherwise?
Patience.
That's exactly what I always say.
I'm not the most patient person in the world for the
Me either. And I still deal with it. I still deal with it, but it's better. Now some folks be like, better? Your patient? I'm like, yeah, it's better.
right. My kids too. They'll be like, "Wait, you said you're more patient after your surgery?" Right? I'm like, "Shut up! I am. I am. It's I anybody that knows me and has seen me on any of these talks knows I'm kind of like a talker and a goer and a this. I like to keep going, whatever. But my stroke has really taught me how to slow down
Yeah.
and to be honestly to be more connected to myself, more compassionate to myself. I'm a lot more generous with myself in terms of like the way that I talk to myself, like like it might take me 5 minutes longer to get my shoes on or something,
Mm.
and I'm rushing and I'm rushing. And in those moments, I really have made it a priority to like slow down with myself and be like, it's okay, right? It's okay to do things at my own pace. It's okay to do things my own way. And really, I think I'm a stronger version of myself now than I was before my stroke. Like, I'm definitely more just stronger. Like, and I think I love myself more, which is crazy. But I'm grateful for my stroke for bringing all these things
Hmm. I,
into
I
space.
say that all the time, and people like, huh?
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
yeah, yes, I am very grateful. Hmm.
It is. It has brought out this whole kind of other side of myself that I really enjoy.
Yeah. So this next question, I'm not going to ask you this
What?
because I want to save it later on down the road. Because my next question is, what exercises or tricks that really helps to get your body moving again? So don't answer that because I,
Okay.
I I already know the answer to it. So I don't want you to answer that yet. So I want to say this that to the survivors out there, celebrate the tiny wins. It's very important that you celebrate those small wins each day. You know, it's okay to vent a little bit, but just spend 10 to 15 minutes vent about it, and then just move on because progress isn't straightforward, but it trends up one stubborn inch at a time. So just stay with it and know that even if you're not seeing it physically, realize that it's happening to you mentally. And with that being said, I want to jump off into something to a part of your recovery that I know that is very, very dear to your heart, and that is yoga. And before you speak on it, I want to let people know that I do yoga at times with Rachel, and I got to get with her more, and it has been a big help to me. So I want you to kind of explain and kind of talk to us about the important parts of what yoga can do for you, as far as like balance, flexibility, what type of yoga to do. Can you do yoga in a wheelchair? All different kind of things like that. It kind of open our the survivors' eyes to know that you don't have to just sit on the couch and do anything. It's things out there that can help you. So I want you to take the floor and talk about that, please, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yoga is, I appreciate that intro because yoga is something that is so close to my heart. And for those of you that have met me along this journey, I'm sure you sense my passion for it, and you might be a little bit annoyed with me continuing to talk about it, but I'm not going to shut up because I think yoga is something that is kind of an untapped market for stroke survivors right now. They're scared to kind of get into it, but let's kind of back up and talk about what is yoga.
Oh,
Yoga, the word itself means union. It comes from the Hebrew word meaning yoke, to put together, to bring together, to unionize, to put back together. And so when you think about stroke, it kind of fits, right? Because we're disconnected
right,
from ourselves. So we need something that is going to bring our body, mind, and spirit back into union. So it's kind of like, I feel like it's the best thing for a stroke because you're dealing with something that is a disconnect, and then you're having something that is reconnection, union. So to me, it kind of like, it just makes sense. It just
right.
really makes sense because if you're disconnected from your body, you're falling a lot, or you're not sleeping well, or your flexibility is very rigid and your body is full of spasticity. Like,
Oh, yes,
you need that
yes.
union brought back to your
That
body
part
where
is so huge. That spasticity part right there. I tell you, since I've been working with you, I have seen a big decrease in that. So you're definitely right on that part for sure.
oh my God, it's so huge. It's so huge. And I will say that it's not just breathing, it's breathing with movement, breathing with stretching. And yoga is majority not physical, right? We're talking about self discovery, self actualization, coming into yourself, knowing yourself fully, and
Yeah.
stepping into your own power. That comes with a lot of self reflection, a lot of what we call self study, a lot of meditation, a lot of just journaling, reflection, kind of sitting with yourself and just being able to sit with yourself.
And something else, real quick, I like to add, Rachel. It also helped with mood swings, and stress level. And those of you that's out there dealing with anxiety,
Oh my God.
it's
Yes.
it's so huge. It helps so much with that as well.
Yes, I have folks that like will I work with regularly, and they'll be like, my spouse notices when I don't do yoga. I'm grumpier. I'm
Mm,
grumpy. I'm in a bad mood, I come to yoga and I'm able to like you release some stuff, you release some stress, you're able to see what I call space open up in the body. John, we talk about this like
Right.
breathing into the body so that you're
Mhm.
creating space, that you're
And
giving your body actual space to take up space. And with that space comes movement, right? Because it's like we can't just jump right into, okay, my arm is paralyzed, I want it to move. Well, what we have to do is create space for that movement to come back. So we
mhm.
might be doing something as simple as like a hand under your arm, lifting your affected arm and taking a breath, right? And doing that in repetition, you start to really repair connection. I mean, yoga is something that can build new brain tissue. Like we're actually seeing
Which
such,
you need. Hmm.
yeah, we're seeing such cool results. And it's funny to me because no matter where I go, people are like, "Wait, you do what? You teach you teach yoga to stroke survivors? Wait, what? Are you sure that's the right community?" You know, people are like, "Maybe that's not the," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? This is the exact community that needs it.
Yeah,
This anybody that is TBI, stroke, brain injury, yoga should be your very best friend in all of your recovery because it's about reconnection,
exactly.
building the connection back. The studies that we have and the research that we have on yoga is minimal. I will say that they did pilot studies, two pilot studies that were very conclusive that yoga helps with mental health, it helps with balance, it
Hmm.
helps with flexibility, it helps with mood, right? We know these things. They stopped the study because they said it was so conclusive that it worked. They didn't need to do further studies. I actually spoke to the woman who led the study in this. It was the University of Indiana that did the first study, and she kind of chuckled with me on like a video chat, and she was like, "Well, the research has been done. It's conclusive. Yoga helps stroke recovery." And
Right.
I'm looking at her like, "So that's all you're gonna do?
Mhm.
Like you did the studies and then you're just walking away?" And she said, "Well, we're expanding our research now to TBI and concussion and other brain injuries because we already know that this helps with stroke. So we have to move on and study other things." And I'm like, "Wait, move on?" This community is not receiving any of these services.
Exactly.
You're saying that the study is done, and on her, ivory tower, these doctors sit and they're just like, "Oh, well, we did what we were supposed to do. We did the work, we did the study." But I'm like, there's no yoga program that is currently existing in a hospital or in a rehab center. That means to me the work is not done actually. And
Correct.
but she told me verbatim, she was like, "Well, I don't have the time to cut through all that red tape and make anything happen. I did my part. I did the research." And
I
so
did,
I'm
I
like,
did, I did my part. Wow.
right, right. And then that's what really bothered me is that you're going to let this research sit somewhere and move on to something. Meanwhile, this is a 7 million people population of stroke survivors that you're literally just saying, "Oh, well, we can move on. We
Hmm.
can move on." And I'm like, "What?" I told her, I was like, "That will not happen on my watch. I will make sure that this information gets out there and that there is some kind of rehab program built according to this research because it's powerful research. It's saying that if you do yoga twice a week for 6 weeks, your balance can improve, your mood can improve.
Can you repeat that?
Twice a week for 6 weeks. That was their study.
Twice a week.
Twice a week
Twice a week for six
for
weeks.
6 weeks, your
Those
balance,
with those
mood,
with balance issues. twice a week for 6 weeks. That's it. That's all.
Right.
And you have balance improvement.
Right. Right.
You know
That's what I'm saying is that
that
like
that is that is huge.
people should not be falling after stroke. People should not have repeated injuries or like these are things that we can remedy. And we have the research that shows that this worked. It worked. We know that. I have people that I work with. One woman that I work with, when I met her, she was falling probably once, at least, I would say once a month. She had a good
Well,
solid fall.
well, look here. We have somebody on the chat with us right now named Tammy Paul. I tease all the time, but I call her Tammy Paul. I nickname her Tammy Fall Paul because it seemed like every other day we talk, she's sending me a message saying all the time. But she's gotten so much better, with it. But
No, I know falling is, I don't mean to say that it's like, you're silly if you're falling because I
yeah,
had falls in the beginning and trust and believe that when I practice yoga, sometimes I do fall. We actually have a class that is like the art of falling.
but look, I see some of this, I look at some of your yoga sessions and some of the things you be doing. I'd be like, oh, I know I ain't ready for that move right there. I've been fell flat on my face. Like, oh no.
You know what though? Like and
I'm
this is
like, I be like, on the wait on that right there, on the wait on that one.
that's the beauty of yoga though, is that it really can move at your own pace. You
Mhm.
can do a very little bit, you can do a lot. And
Right.
do it your whole life. And honestly, I have certain poses that like I've been working on for like 6 years.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
you know what I mean? Like you come into it and you're like, I want to do that. I might not be ready for that. And then you slowly like build. Like it took me probably 6 full years to be able to get upside down. That was like a big thing that I wanted to do
Oh
because
my goodness.
I had vertigo really bad after my stroke. I could not walk up a flight of stairs without feeling like the room was spinning. It
Right.
was so bad. Oh my god, it was so bad and it was so scary. Like
Oh yeah, because I tell you, this is a little bit curveball, but kind of still on the same page. But I can even say, I can remember like when taking a shower and washing your face and just laying back, letting the water hit you, your eyes closed. I couldn't do that. I couldn't close my eyes in the shower because I'm in there,
right.
I'm in there like
Right.
this.
Right. Still
So I so
sometimes
I
when I
started
throw my
working
head
on
back too far, I'm like,
yeah.
"Whoa."
So I
Whoa.
started working on in my exercises. When I do my exercise, I started working on my balance to where I may stand at the kitchen sink and close my eyes without holding on. But I'm in reach to where I can grab when I start getting feeling myself getting dizzy. And I've
Yeah.
put that into my daily routine to where I've gotten to where I can take a shower and I can close my eyes and it's not a problem now because I got my brain to trust my body that is know
Right.
what it's doing.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say is that vertigo is just like an inner ear imbalance thingy that your brain is getting all the fluids and all the stuff are like it's moving around and you need like a recalibration almost of your system. And that's why for me going upside down, and I know this is not like for everyone, but I can say that for myself, when I went upside down for the first couple times, it was really life changing. I felt like something inside my head like shifted. And I was like, the first few times I was really dizzy and really like, this is not comfortable. Right. And then I kept doing it. And I found that by kind of putting your body, and now mind you, like upside down handstands are not the only way that you can get upside down. or that you can do an inversion. We can bring our head down here and start to breathe into that same space. Your head
Right.
is just lower than your heart. We want to get our head down away from our heart so that our brain can kind of recalibrate
Hmm.
the
Now that
system.
one there works good for me because in one hour class that you was teaching, the one I'm in my uh desk chair, so it's rolling, so I can't really do it. But the one that, like you said, we drop our head down and you have us come up and we put our hands behind our heads and come our way up, that was life changing for me because just to know that I was able to get my arm up that high and to be able to rock slowly side to side. And when I really began to notice how good it worked for me was when you continue to tell me breathe, because I'm not breathing. And then once I breathe and I allowed that air to go through the inside of my body like that, I was able to move more and more. So it works. It definitely works, guys. And I'm still stuck on this balance thing because I hear so many people talk about their balance. But just 2 days a week for 6 weeks of yoga, you can improve your balance. If you
Yeah.
have balance issues, you need to be all over that. You need to be all
Yeah.
over.
And I would encourage folks that, like, if you have a yoga studio in your neighborhood, in your community, call them, tell them your situation, ask them if they have a chair yoga class. A lot of yoga teachers, like we kind of talked at the beginning, are ignorant to this population only because they haven't had exposure to it. So if you call and you're like, listen, I'm active, I'm able to get there, I'm able to show up, do you have a chair class that you can start to teach me? Most studios, I'm going to say this and I'm going to probably immediately regret it when people go to their studios and find out that they're not so welcoming, but most studios will help in some way. They might refer you to somebody. They might say, okay, come in early in the mornings. We'll get you set or whatever. I have a lot of people that I work kind of tandem with. Like I work online with, and then they're working in person with a teacher in their studio, and we can kind of
Mm,
do it together and have the whole. But I really encourage folks because, like, a chair yoga class anywhere is a great place to start.
yeah. And
Go
those of
into
you,
a YMCA, go into a chair yoga class, go and feel. The only thing that I will say is that it's hard as a stroke survivor to, because people, even myself, I just went to a yoga class here in Colorado, and I'm a teacher, right? So like I know how to get myself into situations, but people will see me on my mat, and because I take time, I'm very deliberate about my yoga. And this is what I can encourage folks to do is to go at your own pace.
mhm,
Right, to always go at your own pace, even if the teacher is saying that you have to be doing this. In a yoga class, you can always skip it and choose to like go slower, do your own thing, skip a certain pose. If you know, a lot of stroke survivors don't put their head below their heart because it makes them dizzy. So
right,
if that's like your no go, then just don't do that. Go to the class and do everything else, but skip that part. And that is kind of the beauty of yoga, is that it is our journey. It's not about your teacher. It's not about the person next to you. I've had people tell me like, are you gonna, this lady was like, are you okay? Are you gonna do the pose? Because it was taking me like a few seconds to set myself up, and it was making her uncomfortable because I was
mm,
going so slow. And I kind of got irritated, and I looked at her and I was like, listen, I'm a yoga teacher. I know what I'm doing, and what I need from you is to leave me alone.
yeah,
And she kind of looked at me like, okay, I was just trying to help. And I was like, no, 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 no. Like when you're on your mat or in your chair in a yoga class, that is your sacred space. And if somebody is going to judge you for that or say that you're not going fast enough or you're not keeping up with them, like I highly encourage folks to just be like, fuck you. Like seriously, fuck you. I'm going at my own pace. I'm doing
Mhm.
what I need to do. The teacher then supported me. She was like a friend. And so she made a comment after class like, we really want to be encouraging and not be mindful of our neighbor's practice while we're practicing. And remember to be encouraging to have, and so I was like, I was glad that she had my back, but it just shows the ignorance of people that if you
Exactly.
go into a class, you might get a look. You might get a little bit of a weird, like, are you okay? Are you
Hmm.
and I just encourage stroke survivors to be to own that, to be like, yeah, I'm a stroke survivor. I'm okay. Are you okay? You
Yeah.
know?
And
Like,
and I would also, with that being said, I would like to encourage those because even if you're not in a chair, in a wheelchair, you know, we a lot of us feel uncomfortable when we go out in public,
yeah.
different places. So when it comes down to this yoga, if it's something that you're interested in, I highly recommend that you should be interested in. If you are not comfortable with going out into a yoga studio right now, reach out to Rachel, because I had a one-on-one yoga class with her, and then she also teaches classes online, that you can get involved in to where you can get yourself, you know, acclimated with the moves and everything to where you will feel more comfortable to step out and go to a studio. So
Yeah,
keep that in
that's
mind.
my next little plug here is that like if you want like I see myself kind of as like an in-between person, right? Like I'm like helping folks learn the basics of yoga, get the language, get the confidence to then go into a studio themselves and learn it. That's kind of my role as this stroke survivor yoga teacher is that I can help with that. I can do a private session. I do groups on Wednesdays and um that look that people give you is that is I unfortunately I will say that even at the level that I'm at teaching and going into these studios as a teacher, I still get that look. Like,
Yeah.
oh, oh, you're gonna try, oh, you know what I mean? And it's literally like F you, seriously. Like
Right.
seriously, because it's just ignorance. It's
Uh-oh.
not understanding. And I know that not every stroke survivor wants to be like you know, a poster child for making a difference. But I would really encourage you to use those opportunities to educate folks about our community. That it's not a pathetic, oh, you can't do, you'll try, but you can't really do that. No. I have folks that I work with now that did yoga before their stroke and actually find that their practice post stroke is more advanced,
Wow.
right? Because they have a deeper connection with their body. They have a deeper understanding of how props work. We use a
Mm.
lot of props in yoga, and a lot of times people feel like, oh, I don't need the prop. I can just be on my mat by myself. And when you come to a class with me, you're using a prop. You're using a pillow, you're using a chair, you're using a wall, you're using something
Yeah,
because
we use all that.
yeah, we don't need to be expecting ourselves to be able to do everything by ourselves.
Hmm.
We
Okay.
want that support. We want that help. And honestly, a lot of people, I kind of got tired of having to give my whole spiel every time I went into a yoga studio that I kind of pulled back a little bit from going publicly into yoga because it is like we have to educate the world on this and say that like I don't want to be treated less than because I had a stroke. Like, I don't want to be given the easier thing to do because I had a stroke. I want to be taught how I can do the hard thing with the proper support. Right. And I find that a lot of yoga teachers are kind of like, oh, well, if you have an injury, you can just sit there and visualize movement or just and I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing that. If
Yeah.
you're gonna do something, some
Mhm.
movement. I mean, yoga is, it can be something as simple as like making a fist. We call these mudras, right? So you use different hand positionings to move energy through your body. And taking a fist together and breathing is what we call our Brahma Mudra. It's really great for relieving stress and kind of moving energy through your body. So these like ideas that we have about yoga being big movements and all of these things are not true. This also is yoga, right? We can hold, and I do what I do a lot now because I'm really starting to get movement back in my hand. Mind
I
you,
see that.
yeah. And when I started yoga, my arm was completely locked in my side. And just, I was told by my doctors that I needed a baclofen pump in my spine if I ever wanted to move my arm. And now I can literally like move my arm all around, and I'm really working on
Awesome.
fingers, really working on getting my fingers moving. And the way that I do that is this. Right. I'm not able to do it on my left hand, but I do go through it.
Hmm.
Left hand, thumb, pointer finger. Left hand, thumb, middle finger. Left hand, thumb, ring finger, and pinky. And I'm going through that in my mind on this hand. And then all of a sudden my hand like starts to
Start doing that.
make,
Yeah.
yeah, it
That's kind
starts
of
to
that's
do
very
it.
similar to I forgot, let me go back and see exactly how she worded it. But Tammy spoke uh earlier in one of the comments. It was like as long as you keep your movement going, you will see a difference. Even like just sitting in front of the TV, watching TV, just do little things. Because
Mm-hmm.
she texts me all the time and tell me, keep moving. Like she look at my videos of me working out, and she like, I can see, you're lifting your arm up, Bell. I can see you doing this. She like, when you sit down watching TV, just sit there and think about it. Imagine you do, even though it's not moving, you think about it moving, and she like eventually it'll start moving for you. So
Exactly. Exactly. And there are so many ancient healing tools that we have, mantra, different meditation things that you can do that don't require a whole lot of effort. I know it's like, it's a lot. It's overwhelming to think about doing an hour of yoga. Oh my God, I'm going to go to an hour chair yoga class. I'm going to be exhausted. People are going to be looking at me. I'm going to be tired afterwards. One guy that I worked with would literally like have to sleep the entire day. John, you and I were talking about fatigue, right? How it
mhm.
affects some people, and doing yoga can sometimes really wear you out. And it showed him really where he was having this neuro fatigue, and we were able to get built up to be doing that full hour class now where he's able to function with his family afterwards.
Right.
But that took like probably 6 or 7 weeks to get into a place where he was really feeling comfortable coming to yoga.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of
Mhm.
nervousness. I don't know always what I can do to be the most helpful to folks. Like, I think that I hope to have like classes, more classes in person so that people don't have to do this journey on their own, and kind
Yeah.
of have retreats and things that people can come out to and have yoga classes. I also train stroke survivors to be yoga teachers themselves, and have different programs that if you wanted to, like John, we've talked about this, if you ever wanted to lead a meditation group with a group that you have in person there or something, I could train you to do that.
Right.
Right. I could train you to become a teacher. But honestly, a lot of people don't even care about that. They're just like, give me the yoga, let me do the yoga. I don't need to be a teacher. And that's wonderful too. I just kind of saw people asking for more. And so I was like, how can I give them more? And my answer was, if stroke survivors become yoga teachers, then we get to see this whole paradigm shift.
So see,
Because
you got more
if
people out there doing it.
yeah, because you got a stroke survivor that's teaching yoga at your local studio, that's going to bring stroke survivors out, making
Mhm.
them feel more comfortable, because, oh, my teacher had a stroke too, right? And
Exactly.
so I think that there's a lot of different ways that I can help, but I'm kind of like still in the beginning phases of this and still building out the exact ways that I can help. I'm actually going to a in-person stroke support group at a hospital right by my house this week to teach yoga to them.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that this hospital will kind of make it a permanent thing, and eventually have folks like coming out to train with me or coming to do yoga with me so that they can get these opportunities around like-minded people, around people that look like them, around people that actually understand their experience. But I'm at the early stages of this. We're trying to get some grant funding into this so that we can make it a permanent thing
Gotcha. Hmm.
and not just like disappear. Also, my mission has always been to keep yoga affordable. Yoga is something that is out of touch with your average person. It's very expensive, it's very elitist, it's very discriminatory, in my opinion. And I'm not about that. I'm not, I'm not about that. You come to a class with me, it's either $5 or $10. The fees are not exorbitant. If anybody is charging you more than that, I would be very lenient to get involved with that, because my mission is this is a nonprofit yoga organization that I'm building. Stroke survivors should not be paying $40 out of their own pocket for an hour.
Right.
That's just unrealistic to think
Hmm.
that you're going to have that money. And so grant funding coming in on my end is going to allow me to teach in these
Exactly.
spaces where stroke survivors don't have to pay for it. Where you're
Gotcha.
going to a local class, it's free. My class is online. I would say they're not really every Wednesday. They're maybe bi-monthly.
Okay.
I found that doing it weekly was kind of a bit much, for me, because it's just a lot of talking for me, and I get tired.
I
And
got.
so bi-monthly classes, look for me online. We're doing a class. May is Stroke Awareness Month, so we're doing 2 classes at the end of May on Wednesday online to kind of just keep things going. I don't know if that class is going to continue. I hope to get more folks involved. Right now, it's still kind of a iffy thing. Strokes are, like I said, I go to meetings, like, like small business group meetings or whatever, and people are like, you do what?
Mhm.
And so there's still this bad stereotype that we have to kind of break. And I'm kind of up against all of that, educating folks on the research, educating folks on the actual real life stories, like the progress that I've seen just with John in a couple weeks of class. I
Hmm.
mean, it's amazing. And I think that if more people knew about this, they'd be more willing to get involved in some kind of way. So that's why I'm here. And I'm so grateful for John for allowing this platform for me to speak about it because it is very close to my heart. I say that it probably saved my life after my stroke. I don't think that I would be as happy,
Right.
as calm, as mobile, and as free from pain. You know, when I had my stroke, all my doctors were like, well, by the time you get into your 40s, you're going to need a knee replacement and a hip replacement because of all the stress on your body for that long, 20 years or so. And I'm 42 now, and
Hmm.
I don't have knee pain. I once in a while will have like a wonky hip. I sit on my mat for a little while, do a little pigeon pose or take a little stretch, and I'm okay. Like, and so I would rather have these tools to keep me moving as I get into my 40s and God willing, get into my 50s and be, 30 years living with a stroke. I mean, it does give you a lot of wear and tear on your body. That
Gotcha.
I will say. Your body, my body is taking it, right? It's but the yoga keeps me moving. It keeps me going. And that's not to say that I get on my mat every day and do a headstand. Like I might be in my car taking a moment and doing a breathing exercise.
Right. I got you.
Like, and that's my yoga for the day. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a whole huge production. And these little tools, breathing, stretching, forcing out a yawn, our vagus nerve, it plays a huge part in our stroke recovery. And if you can get connected with that vagus nerve through your breath and through like yawning exercises where you turn your head and you actually force out a yawn, that sort of thing, it's huge. It really can make a huge difference. These very little things, even just sitting, you're sitting on a. It's really think of yoga as mindful action,
Okay.
mindful movement, right? So if you're gardening and you're outside and you're connected to something that you're planting, you're very mindful about your movement. You're very connected in that moment to the earth, to what's around you. I would argue that that's yoga. That's yoga. That's a connection. That's a union. You're making a connection and you're unionizing your actions, your thoughts with the world around you. So if you practice mindful movement, sitting on your chair, watching a show, and taking your arm out and to the side and stretching for a breath, and then back down. Like these are very small things that we can be doing,
But the results are huge.
but the results are huge,
Yeah.
right? People are saying,
Um,
like, I can get dressed, I can put my shirt on, my arm is moving through my clothes. Or one lady was like, I can actually shave my armpits now because
mhm.
my arm will lift and I can get under there. And those are huge, huge achievements for stroke survivors. Like these
Yeah.
little small movements that lead to big changes. That is like,
I
that's,
don't. I don't know why it's not popping up on my read screen here, so I can put it up there for you to see it. But I'm just gonna read it off to you. Tammy just added a comment which I love. She said, "If you can't teach," she said, "you can't teach a swimmer how to swim if you don't swim yourself." I like that.
yeah,
That's huge.
yeah,
That's really good. I like that a lot. That's good. Mm.
yeah. No, it is. And I mean, I wouldn't be teaching this stuff if it didn't do so much for me.
Exactly.
Right? Like I can't be telling y'all to do something that I haven't actually walked through. Like I've
And
been the person that
that's
got
that's
the
what
look.
I'm getting from what she's
Yeah,
saying. Like it makes so
yeah.
much sense. That's
I
all.
took myself all the way to India to do my teacher training, and I wanted to see the reaction of folks when a stroke survivor walks in the room at that level of teaching, right? And I will say that it was better than I expected. It was much more, I mean, granted, you're always going to have that one person that is just like gonna be nasty, right? There's
Mm.
always one, I would say, that is like kind of side eyeing you, whatever. But generally, I was welcomed by all my teachers. I was told, take your time, do what you can, honor your own body. Da 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 da. I felt like the yoga community itself was very supportive, and I wanted to see that for myself, going there, putting myself in these situations where I did feel really uncomfortable. But I was like, somebody's got to do this. Somebody's got to break these barriers and just show up and be like, what are you going to do? I'm here. Like, teach me, right? And my teacher, my main teacher, he was so kind, and the kindness that I felt from him was like, really, I feel like I needed that to come back to the United States to teach more and to really have felt that compassion, like really where he was just like, do listen to your body, Rachel. And he would tell me things like, you know what you're doing. You know what your body is telling you to do right now. Just listen to that. Listen, because I would ask him, well, how am I supposed to do this pose if I can't do it like the other girls? Tell me how I can do it. And his answer was always like, Rachel, you already know how to do it. Listen to your own. And I feel like that's such good advice. Listen
Mhm.
to your body, listen to yourself with the guidance of a good teacher and listening to your own body. You can go very far with a yoga practice and get kind of as far as you want to be. Some people don't want to be in it that much. They'll like to take the chair yoga class and then kind of that's it. But
That's
if you want to get into the upside downs and you want to get into the arm balances and the back bending and all of that fun stuff, definitely schedule a session with me because,
yeah, definitely reach out.
yeah.
Okay, well, that was great. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out today. And
Yeah. I'm happy to.
I like to, I like to try to leave with a little advice and encouragement from myself and also from my guests. And I'll go first with my encouragement to the warriors out there. And then I'd like for you to give them a little something as well. And hopefully we can do this again soon. And I definitely appreciate it. So, guys, I just want to make sure that you keep in mind that we all are damaged. Each and every last one of us are damaged in our own ways, but we're not destroyed. So fight, fight, fight. Rachel.
I will just say that the divine within me honors that divine within you. So, kind of following up with what John said, is that we all have our shit, right? But underneath all that stuff is a divinity that we really can't even put into words. I can't put that into words. It's something that is very special, a light or a spirit within you, and that connection that we share after a yoga class, like saying namaste, I see you, I honor you in your journey, I think is a really big piece of this, is to honor yourself, honor your journey, show gratitude for where you are, and the divinity within me honors that divinity within you. I see you, I see your struggle, I honor you, and Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. All right, guys, those of you that's out there, again, I really appreciate you tuning in. And those that take the time out and catch us later, we appreciate it and look forward to seeing you. And again, do not hesitate to reach out to Rachel. And we'll see you on the next one. You guys have a great one. Thanks again, Rachel.
Thank you, John.
Okay, dear. I'll be talking with you. Bye, guys.